Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're watching some kunka. So what we're going to be doing is watching Respect Pango players. That's a great name, because you know what? Pango players deserve a lot of respect. He's right. You know, it's one of the most difficult heroes in the game. Actually, it kind of is. The hero's win rate falls off as you go lower and lower in terms of average MMR per game. But the hero is so stupid! Either way, we're going to be watching Offlane kunka. This hero is crazy. Highest win rate in a Dota 2 Pro Tracker by a margin. 57% win rate. One of my least favorite heroes in Dota, which is kunka, because generally the hero tends to fall off. However, what people are doing now has changed the way the hero is seen. It's changed the way the hero is played, and that's what's so beautiful about Dota 2, the game we all love and play. Alright, what you do is you stat up, you buy some phase boots, then you go blade mail. You take advantage of the incredible strength gain of kunka, and you buy a blade mail, reflect the damage. From there, you buy a Heart of Tarask. Now, most players are gonna buy Shard. The reason why you're gonna buy Shard is because it does a ton of damage on a low cooldown and repositions people. If you don't know what it is, it's called Tidal Wave, and it basically shoots a wave and you move them. We're gonna see it in the video. But he buys a Heart first because he's 1v9ing, right? This Heart just lets you run in, okay? That's all it does. You run in, you take damage, and you initiate for your backline heroes. Look at his heroes. You think any of these heroes want to go in first? Hell no. But he's got a Dazzle who's just gonna sit behind him and heal him for 8 billion. Right? Just gonna heal him for 8 billion, and he's gonna do his thing, right? So, okay, after that, what do you go? Ags, right? Creates a Torrent Storm, and then you go Shivas. So basically, you don't try to do damage, okay? Real damage. You do damage, but you don't try to do a ton of damage. You just go in. Now, let me give you guys an interesting little tidbit about kunka as I play the laning stage here. A lot of stunts in Dota were nerfed, okay? A lot of stunts in Dota were nerfed. One of the only stunts in Dota that was not nerfed, and also is not affected by status resistance, if I'm not mistaken, is Torrent, okay? The ability was just left alone. Also, one of the interesting changes about the ability is that in 7.34, the damage and slow are now applied to all enemies in the Torrent area, not just to enemies caught by the stun. And so even if you miss the Torrent combo, or if someone walks into the general area, they will take the damage and take the slow. And it's a lot of damage, and it's a lot of slow. Right, it's a 40% movement speed slow for 4 seconds on an unbelievably low 10-second cooldown. It's been a 10-second cooldown forever, but now it is simply buffed. They also buffed the return cast point, which is kind of nice, and so the hero got a lot of changes. People realized Blade Mail is a very good item, especially on these frontline initiators, and on top of that, the changes to the hero in terms of status resist and all stuns being nerfed, just not touching kunka, has made the hero become pretty meta. Alright, so in the laning stage, what do? It's pretty similar to mid kunka in a lot of ways, which is just you use Tidebringer to harass the enemy. You're going to be pushing the wave pretty frequently, but that's okay, right? Unless the lane matchup is really, really hard, in which case you should turn off the Tidebringer. If you are going to play kunka, you must, and I repeat, you must have autocast on your Tidebringer. This will allow you to click the spell button to turn it on and off. If you don't do this, you will push in the wave and cause yourself to get range creeps denied way too frequently, so please avoid this at all costs, right? You have to turn on an autocast. But okay, from there, you're gonna use Tidebringer. Like for instance, this Tidebringer, it's kind of bad, right? Because now he gets a range creep denied. In fact, almost 2 denied. And so you don't just want to casually Tidebringer, you want to use it to harass like that. Like that was a good one. It didn't hit the range creep, it hit the Sven. So you want to pull aggro and then Tidebringer. Don't just Tidebringer and hit the range creep and get it denied. That shit is really bad. Now, as the levels progress, kunka eventually becomes somewhat of a lane dominator because you're very, very tanky, and Tidebringer is just a very powerful ability. It's constant harass for 0 mana. It's the same thing in the mid lane. What I kind of like about this hero more as a side lane is that he has very strong disables. If a support or a core ever walks out of position and you get a decent X in a torrent, it's a ton of right clicks, right? Because you X them, hit them, torrent, hit them, hit them, hit them. You know what I mean? It's just very strong. And so yeah, the Sven doesn't even try to lane at some point. I guess he understands how strong the kunka can be at a certain point. Now from there, assuming your game is pretty good, what you want to do is just kind of farm up a lot of neutrals and look for opportunities to TP in with boat. Right? Your hero farms extremely quick. In fact, it's one of the fastest farming heroes in all of Dota because Tidebringer is just nuts, right? This ability is just insane. There's no other way to say it. 4-second cooldown to cleave camps. It's ridiculous. So when you're farming, you want to make sure you don't hit the large creep with the Tidebringer. You want to hit the small creeps because that will cause the big creep to die the fastest. So just keep that in mind. That's all you really have to do as he farms up his blade mail. Now, I do think there's a lot of plays he can make. Like, frankly, he's playing the very, very passive route. However, your hero is very good at roaming. I mean, boat is 400 damage. Right? For context, Lionfinger is like 600. Everyone who gets touched by it gets bonus movement speed, takes 45% less damage, and it stuns. It's a great spell at level 1. It's just a great spell. This hero is so good early game. So frankly, I'm very surprised he's playing the super farming route because at this point in the game, this is when kunka is considered strongest by most players. Now, because of the changes to the build, I would say he scales fine, but usually you want to like maybe smoke, hit the portal, X the axe, and kill that guy off if he's low, which he often would be. You want to do that, you can smoke to the mid lane, try to get a kill on the enemy mid, and then take the tower, because Tidebringer is so good at fighting at this point in the game. But as I said, he just decides to go the farming route. He just kind of clears neutrals over and over and over again, and then is looking for opportunities to TP in. And you'll see what's really nice about the Blade Mail is in certain matchups, if heroes have uncontrollable damage, it just allows Kunka, who wants to be in melee range anyway, to do a stupid amount of damage. For instance, here he turns on the Blade Mail against Axe, which reflects not only battle hunger, but also counter helix in this case, and allows him to kill him off very quickly. Now, I'd say in this clip here, it kind of shows a good example of why Kunka is somewhat insane. The hero's absurd strength gain and high HP pool just allows him to be a menace on the map. I mean, this clip kind of looks bad. It's like a good lich hold. He's surrounded by 3 heroes. He gets magnetized. He gets stunned. You assume he's just dead, but a little bit of heals from Dazzle and just strictly a high HP pool allows him to walk it off. Also, obviously, his wand. And this is all without boat run, right? If he was affected by his boat, he truly would not have even come close to dying, right? So it can be extremely ridiculous how hard it is to kill this hero. And that's why you want to bait team fights, right? You always want to be the one going in first. Also, a quick little tip if you're going to be playing the Kunka in the offlane, what you want to do is at level 10, you want to take Tidebringer slows. It's very strong, right? It's a huge AoE slow if you hit the Tidebringer. And then in terms of comboing your abilities, he's going to X, right? Then he's going to boat, he's going to Tidebringer, and then when the boat is about to hit, he will pull back and then use the torrent, right? And this is a good way to layer the disables. You'll see when the boat stun ends, then the torrent stun comes in. And this is great because then when you don't torrent first, when you boat first, right, you get the stun from the boat, but the boat doesn't slow after, but torrent does slow after. So if you torrent second, then you actually get value out of the slow. If you torrent first, boat second, you actually don't really get much value out of the torrent slow. And so it's much better to do the combo in that way if you have the opportunity, and they kill the Sven with a second Tidebringer. And yeah, this is typically where you buy your shard. The reason why is it's just broken. It's a repositioning spell on a really low 12-second cooldown that does 250 damage. This ability is almost just another maxed out nuke, right, that you can buy for 1400 gold on a low cooldown. That repositions, and by the way, it disarms people when they are affected by it. It's insane, and so that's why you'll see it, right? Because in a fight like this, it's minute 15, you could have it, right? Maybe the Air Spirit dies, right? Maybe this guy dies faster. I don't know. You get what I'm saying, right? It's better for early fighting. So typically you want to buy your shard here. Don't greed out, don't rush hard. It's pretty unnecessary to have. I mean, obviously it's good to have an early hard, but you want to win the early fights, and having a vitality booster and like 1,000 gold saved up compared to having shard is just not close when it comes to your ability to fight, right? So don't do this build most games. This is definitely him just saying, I'm 4-1 with 170 CS. You know, I'm top net worth by a margin. I'm going to greed it out a little bit, right? I'm going to play to hit a bit of a bigger timing, but most games don't do this. And at this point, what I like about DM's gameplay is instead of like pushing out top, which he could do, right? He could kind of just like come here and push it out. He just runs into the enemy. I mean, look at this. He's just like, yep, I'm running at you. What are you going to do about it? X, right? Oh, you're getting pulled back. Dead. Oh, I'm going to run into your next area. What are you going to do about it? Are you really going to go on me? 3.1k HP with the Blade Mail and the ability to then give myself more health if I boat myself? Like, you don't want to go on this guy. And so he just runs down the lane, and you can see he's just going on them, just kind of disrupting them, gets gone on here. I mean, this looks suspect, right? It looks like one of those fights where maybe he's going to die, but I mean, they have to use everything. And look at the Dazzle heal. Oh God, the Dazzle heal is so strong here. Gonna get off the boat. I mean, he should Blade Mail way faster here. This is quite bad. Blade Mail! Use your fucking Blade Mail! Ah! Okay, so he doesn't Blade Mail and ends up dying. Obviously, you don't want to get surrounded by 5 heroes at the same time. That is legit the only way you can die. But at the end of the day, they had to commit so much on him that when the PA then comes in here, she just cleans up. Now, unfortunately, the PA was slow, and the way he got gone on is not what you want. Like, yes, you want to get gone on, hopefully when your teammates are close and ready to fight, right? So you can see, that was ridiculous. He almost lived. He didn't pop his Blade Mail fast enough. He didn't even torrent fast enough. Kind of choked a bit there. I mean, I'm being a little harsh, but you get the point. You want to optimize everything. And it's kind of the same thing over and over again. He's going to get gone on, and as long as his team is in the area, it's just going to feel terrible for the enemy team. Now, you don't do a ton of damage, but you just reposition people like crazy. For instance, here, okay, I'm going to pop his Blade Mail, hopefully a little faster this time. He did. Honestly, he was not really getting gone on, so maybe he could have held it that time. Dota's a hard game, all right? It's a hard game. But okay, pops the Tidal Wave. That's going to push the Sven back, right, into a bad position, push the Lich towards the Kunka, doing 250 damage to both of them, and he's going to cleave down the Lich, right? Very, very nice. Kind of forces out a BKB from Sven to some extent, and he's going to be able to cleave down the Sven as he brought the guy back in and out of position. right? Just so good, you know, so good. And so baits another fight. I think what he wanted the first time is what happened there, right? Where his team's able to directly respond. They aren't able to even come close to bursting him because, you know, any sort of defensive ability is going to come out. It's going to, you know, shut down that opportunity, and he's going to be able to get the job done. And now here, I don't even know what Earth Spirit and Brewmaster are thinking. This is never going to work, but if your teammates are getting gone on, just chuck the boat on top of them. It's going to give them that bonus rum, that bonus 45% block, which is such a high number, and bonus movement speed, and they're just never going to die, right? They're never ever going to die. And so yeah, once again, kind of run down the lane. Don't run backwards, don't farm backwards on this hero. Just get out onto the map as he tries to save his Furion here. Isn't able to get him. Sticking on top of the Sven, you can see he just doesn't care. Tidal Wave to push him back. Can chase on a little bit. His team is sort of dead here as he's going to hit his combo. One of the problems with Kunka is you do have mana problems, which is something you have to keep in mind. And by the way, at level 15, you can see completely doubling down on being utility, not taking 45 damage, which maybe you would expect, taking Torrent, Knock Up, and Stun Duration, which then will later pair with your Ags timing. All right, and to end off the video, I mean, this team fight is so funny. It's like beautiful though, you know, that when the hero hits this timing, it can go nuts as he's going to drop the boat, right? Defensively buff up his team as per usual, right? Kind of helping the Furion live here. BKB on Sven is going to wear out soon. This is bugged. He is, I believe he's BKB'd at this point, or does he pop it even later? No, yeah, he is BKB'd. Okay, it's just worn off at this point. And so when the BKBs end, what you want to do, you want to try to wait out the BKBs. And then when they've ended, or if people just don't have them, this is when you drop the Torrent Storm. And then every 0.25 seconds for 5 seconds, Torrent comes out. And it's just, I mean, it's just ridiculous, right? It's so hard to play against. 2-man knock up here. Lich just on the side trying to get in and cast his abilities. Just gets knocked up there. This guy gets hit by another one because he's a little bit unfortunate here. And it's just a mess. I mean, look at this Lich. Like, what is he even dying to? He couldn't even cast a single spell. Like, what in the... And that's what it does. People die. It's so much damage, so much disable, not affected by a lot of the changes that were recently made to Dota, and that's why this hero's win rate has just shot up. He just somehow went under the radar, probably because he was kind of crap. Frankly, I thought Kunka was like a bottom 5 hero in Dota. I really despise this hero. And honestly, it still has some weaknesses. Like, if it's having a bad game, guys, I'll be real. Yes, it can recover with Tidebringer, but if it's having a bad game and your team's kind of falling off, it's hard to recover because it's not that explosive a hero. It's extremely good when the game is sort of like evenish, and when you're ahead, it's completely broken in my opinion. Like, it's so damn hard to play against Kunka from ahead. And the reason why I say that is a clip like this, as literally this is the actual end, but he gets gone on, it's just like Torrent Storm, just hits 2 heroes, you know. Too much control, you know, they can't even fight the area, they can't commit, they have to run, but you're not running from a Phantom Assassin, or a Kunka for that matter. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching, hopefully you enjoyed, I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.